up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today, my friend Nick and I are going to be backpacking to a remote Florida spring, hoping to film and photograph alligators and gar. So I have to figure out how to get all of this in the backpack in 2 miles to the spring and back. So should be a fun challenge. It's gonna be a hot one today, but we'll get to it. So we're not actually spending the night at the spring. We actually just got off the river at 3 a.m. yesterday, or this morning, and only slept 3 hours. So we're not spending the night tonight, but it is quite a haul to get there. If you're backpacking, you know that the number one rule is to try and eliminate as much weight as possible. But today we're kind of going against that normal strategy, and it kind of kills me to do this, but I am throwing 17 pounds right into the pack to start. That's because this wetsuit is crazy buoyant, and in order to take good photos, it needs to be able to stay underwater. So this is going to be quite the heavy bag today. So I've done this hike before, and I've just carried my camera housing, but by the end of the 2 miles, you kind of feel like your arm's about to fall out of your socket. So I'm gonna see if I can figure out a way to get it on the backpack, but I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try. My main concern is I just don't want to scratch up the dome port with any rubbing, so hopefully the cover will cover that, but we'll see. All right, I'm actually really proud of this, but look at that. It's perfect. A little lopsided, but Nick is taking the paracord approach. It's working very nicely.
I'm pretty proud of myself too. I'm trying my best.
It should be. It looks great. Maybe your camera will stay on more straight than mine.
Because
it's leaning hard. It's a test.
Oh my god.
First trail casualty, had to readjust, but we got it. Velvet Ant, check him out. He's so speedy. It's a 6-line race winner. Check out how fast these guys are. Excuse me. Yo. Very cool. So to start out, the trail runs through some pretty nice longleaf pine tree stands, but as you get farther along and get closer to the spring, it drops from upland habitat to lowland, and it's a lot wetter. There's a lot more mud, and there's also quite a few ticks, so we'll keep our eyes peeled, but hopefully we won't have to deal with too many of those. So there's a cool flower. I'll show you guys. These are called bog Cheetos because they kind of look like Cheetos, but if you see these, it's a good sign you're getting closer to a wet or swampy environment. So we're headed in the right direction. Also, another good example of a wet loving plant. These are sundews, which are carnivorous. They have those little sticky pads on them, and ants and other insects will get stuck on there, and they suck their nutrients out of them. But yeah, super cool, teeny tiny little plants. Here's my hand for reference, but very cool. Yo, he's going for me.
Oh, you got one?
I got one.
Nice.
Get off. First obstacle, I gotta go through this sideways. Oh gosh. I'm so top heavy.
You're white.
Light? Is it bad? I can't even see it.
I'm wondering if I can loosen it.
Or pinch it in. Am I through?
Nope.
Oh.
1 second. Okay, try now. There you go.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay. How can I help you?
Oh boy.
Okay, yeah, here. Got that one. Oh, you are through. We're going to stand up.
All right. Take care.
Oh, we made it through first obstacle, I think. No way I'm going under this thing. Oh, whoa.
Might be too hot, top heavy for this.
It really wants to throw you. All right, so I suppose now is a good time to say the reason for all the fallen debris is because there was a pretty big storm in this part of the panhandle of Florida last week. It's going to be pretty wet parts of the trail and then also all that, down branches and things like that. But we are a little concerned because we're not sure if the spring will be browned out or not. If the water table gets higher than where the spring normally sits at, it won't be clear anymore. It'll just be kind of covered in, whatever water's in the area. So hopefully it's clear, but if not, I don't know. It is what it is.
I don't know if this will pick up, but you've got a trail of mosquitoes. Oh, you can kind of see them.
Like against the backpack.
Yeah, crazy.
Can't stop or get eaten alive.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
I'm getting put off. No.
Just gotta embrace it, I guess. I don't know. Oh gosh. I see it right now, but I am plastered in spider webs. There's so many. Oh my
I
gosh.
appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome, Nick. Kind of tight in here. All right, through an arduous 2 miles, we have made it to the spring. And this boardwalk has seen better days, but the spring looks like it is clear, which is great news. This was not, oh my gosh, in vain. Woohoo! Oh, dude, look at the car. Oh, let's go. Let's go.
So many.
Now, why would you ever put on a wetsuit after hiking in the heat? Well, good photos and video require being calm and still underwater, and Panhandle Springs tend to be around 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which can get pretty cold after a couple of hours, and I don't want to be shivering while trying to hold the camera steady. Alrighty, it's time to get in the water. It is much deserved at this point. This spring has a green tint to it, unlike the typical blue color you usually think of when it comes to Florida Springs. Although the water is extremely clear, it is also almost milky, which might sound a little weird, but when you dive beneath the surface and the sun hits the water just right, it makes for some spectacular sunbeams. The gar were quite wary of us at first, but after a lot of patience, I was able to get close up to a few of them. If you swam down beneath the gar and looked up at them from below, it almost appeared as if they were flying through a clearing in the forest. It's an amazing perspective that's truly remarkable to witness. Algae isn't a welcome sight in the springs, as it is typically a sign of high nitrogen levels from groundwater contamination from fertilizers and other pollutants. But the way it clings to some of these underwater tree branches is quite striking, and it was neat to see the gar seamlessly weaving in and out of them. Florida's springs are fed by groundwater coming up from the Floridan Aquifer. Although this spring is incredibly wild and remote, pollutants that enter the groundwater upstream hundreds of miles away can still have negative impacts on this ecosystem. It's an important reminder that you cannot just protect small pieces of habitat, but you also have to protect larger areas as well as what connects them, including underground water sources. At this point, Nick was motioning for me to dive down as there was something moving along the bottom of the spring. Once I got down there, I looked where he was pointing, and sure enough, a large common snapping turtle was sitting on the bottom of the spring. Unfortunately, it didn't stick around for photos, but quickly lumbered off into the decaying vegetation and disappeared. That's actually the first time I have seen one in the spring. Before leaving the cool waters for the hot and humid trek back to the car, I wanted to dive down deep and take one last look at my favorite underwater snag. Algae hangs off the branches of this dead tree like tattered sails on a ghostly ship. You'd never know so much beauty was hiding just beneath the surface of a green hole in the woods in the middle of nowhere, Florida. All right, there it is. Beautiful green hole in the woods. It's great after a 2-mile hike, but unfortunately now we have to hike 2 miles back just to our cars. Great dive. Definitely worth it, but time to head home. More of them.
Oh yeah?
Get out of here. All right, so that was it. 4 miles total. Man, it is so hot outside. Look at this. See that? 95 degrees. So yeah, we had the spring all to ourselves, which is awesome. It's an amazing reward at the end of a, challenging hike for Florida. I mean, it's always gonna be hot, but definitely worth it. I'm bummed we didn't get to see any alligators today. I will try and put up some images from alligators I've seen there before. I'm wondering if they like it more when the weather's cooler and they move up into the spring during the winter months, but not sure. I'll have to go back and check that out later. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you all in the next video. Peace.